would see in Numbers and in Deuteronomy and Exodus the idea or the theological attribute of God called holiness. And so in the first session, we saw what it would mean to be holy. Now, talking about the attribute of God, it is very hard, as Dr. D.A. Carson would say, to actually explain the holiness of God. But let's go ahead and mention a few things that theologians have mentioned. First of all, Dr. R.C. Sproul, talking about the holiness of God, he says the original word would mean a cut. And it would mean, and he goes on to say, he is a cut above the rest. You would have heard that when it means he is above everything. He is a cut above the rest. There is nothing like him. He is absolutely unique in his essence. There is nothing like him. He is a cut above the rest. There is nothing to be compared unto him. And you would see the psalmist sing that. He says, Lord, who can be compared unto you? Who is like you, O Lord? For he is holy, as we see. He is a cut above the rest. There is nothing that can be compared unto him. And it also implies moral absoluteness. As John would say in 1 John, he says, God is light, and there is no darkness in him. Darkness meaning anything that has to do with anything immoral, anything imperfect, anything evil, absolutely cannot be found even in the slightest, in the most tiniest of percentage, cannot be found in God, because he is absolutely, if he is 100%, if that's what you want to mention, he is absolutely holy in all of his nature. So the holiness of God is such an important attribute of God, because as one of the tools that the scripture writers use to emphasize a particular theme, one of the tools that they use is repetition. And nowhere, as Dr. R.C. Sproul would say, nowhere in Scripture would you ever see God being called love, love, love. The repetition, not twice but 3 times, would imply the importance of a particular attribute or a particular thing. Nowhere is God called mercy, mercy, mercy. Nowhere is God called kind, kind, kind. But do you know what he is called? Isaiah 6 and the book of Revelation, and I think also the book of Zechariah, we would see that God is being called holy, holy, holy. So Dr. MacArthur would say, holiness, it is the crowning diamond of God's nature. It is that thing that holds all of his nature together. It is who he is. It is not merely what he does, but who he is. This absolutely spotless God, this God who is a cut above the rest, this God who has nothing to be compared to, this God who is absolutely, absolutely, absolutely holy, meaning with no imperfection, no shortage, no pitfalls, no shortcomings, no sin, no darkness, no evil in him. This holy God is who we worship, and he has a desire, and his desire is that he may dwell in the midst of his people. And what a privilege it is when we begin to understand that this crowning jewel of God's nature, this royal diadem of God's nature, is what he calls us by when he chooses us to be his own. And so this pre-existent God pre-existently chose us who worship him to draw us nigh unto him, to bring us close unto him, and that he may be intimate with us. John 17 is beautiful. Jesus prays his high priestly prayer, and he says, as they are one, as the Father and Son are one, his desire is that we are one with this absolutely holy God. What a privilege, what a joy it is to understand that this holy God has set me apart for himself. And this is what Dr. D.A. Carson would call being positionally holy. It means positionally, in our standing, we are holy by the mere fact, or by the absolutely indispensable fact, that this God has separated us, taken us out to be His own. And so positionally, in our standing, we are holy.